Hello and welcome. This is Divine Unisouls, and this month we got April, which is April's Fool's Day. Oh, that's right. I think I can look straight at you. I don't have to look at the green thing anymore. So this is April Fool's. April Fool's is a time in which, interesting enough, if we go by the way tarot deck, it would be a fool's journey. One is ready to take a leap and not knowing where the universe or source is going to catch oneself. And it is really truly interesting that April Fool's falls on the first day of April, which is really, we're in the season of Aries. And okay. And so being in Aries, we know that, again, me being a fellow Aries, understand that is the new beginnings, the starting over of the astrology sign or the seasons or the cycles as well. And we know that also, again, it's about independence, and it is the sign of the I am. Really knowing that starting off and doing so, this has been really a time that all of the months that has really actually led up until now has truly helped us to really understand, to anchor in that energy. And that's kind of like the reasons why I've been kind of on and off, because I really have made a true understanding where I want to get an understanding of all these downloads and messages and things that I'm having, is that it's really truly having it to look at myself and really truly get an understanding of, am I really grasping the messages? Beforehand, it was so much I wanted to get it forth and out to you all, and not understanding, and really getting to an understanding of myself or how I operate too as well. And I've noticed I had an aha moment even coming on here. I look at the people that I like, that I watch, and their fellow Aries too, and I notice with them and their trends is that they're not really on often. K-Moon, a Luna Ash, she comes on every now and then. However, really truly seeing that when we're talking about the Aries energies, it's really about that fire, as I've understood, and really having that burning, or that really taking up that torch and the fire to serve. If I could borrow that coin from one of the organizations I belong to, and just really understanding that having that fire to serve within, and making sure that what's going on within is going on without, and really having alignment. I think the month of March, with all of the really interesting energies that we had, we were still kind of getting kind of beat up, or iron sharpening iron, pretty much in getting ourselves ready for April. We're quite not there. It's not showtime yet, but I believe really, to me, in the month of April is really presenting the opportunities for us to really get that balance together, really finding ourselves to really trying to see as far as what's really the center, or the thing that helps us to balance and really get grounded, as we we're finding the balance or the counterbalances and things to help us to really steady feel. They're showing me almost like that thing that builders use, and it's got like a water, and it has a little thing that bounces in between to really truly see where the center, or if you're really leveled, where we're really leveling to say, okay, now we got just the right enough of divine masculine energies, we got just the right divine feminine energies. Okay, this is really me truly centering, and this is me truly being where I need to be. This is, I feel good, I feel at peace right now, and this is where we are, especially when we're talking, stepping into the I am here. Really a lot of aha moments of understanding. I think all of us now things are seeming a little bit more clearer. I don't know if it's just me. I've been more so The heart has been really open, and I was saying our divine masculine energies and expressing and crying and really feeling that there is something new on the horizon. And I would say that in some ways that the heart chakras of the divine masculine energies is opening up and feeling more okay with being vulnerable, being okay with that happening. Beforehand, you felt like you needed to be so protective, so much to have to go into your warrior mode. Less of that is like, F it. If they see me crying, then that's just it. And this is where the divine masculine energies are a little bit more settling into the feelings of being the heart chakra opening, or getting in touch with what the heart is. Pretty much on the journey for the divine masculine energies is more so of a feeling of what is truly my heart's desire, what is really truly north for me, what is really truly what I want. Can I set forth now, no matter how the circumstances are and showing themselves right now? Can I make baby steps, at least, towards the direction that I feel that I must go? And then believing and knowing that spirit and source would catch us. I believe in the divine masculine energies right now, and that's collective. Remember, we are divine feminine and masculine energies, but understanding that now we're getting more. Those who have maybe are in the separation phase have like no communications with your divine counterpart. We'll feel at this moment now where it's a more of a connection and believing and knowing that source has your back. This is where you're at, because now with that, and I know how much that it is very much so, for some of us it's a struggle that you don't have your counterpart or your person there with you. However, there has been more of less of them being there, that is less of a distraction of you really truly like getting to the point that, again, certain places, and I'm being led and I'm channeling here, that you've had to develop this really good keen sense to hear sources or God's voice much better where you're going, because where you're going and where you're preparing to, you've got to really be able to rely on that intuition, that gut feeling, that something told me, that feeling, and really trust and know that the still small voice that you're hearing, or whatever that you might want to call it, my guides, my angels, or whatever, that which way ever you're being guided to, is truly, that is the truth. That's one thing about in the Aries energies, and me being the Aries, we really are really blunt with the truth, really believe in becoming one with the truth as well. And again, this is where, again, we're finding in where we in the month of April is really a sounding truth about who we are, where we need to go, about who needs to stay, who needs to go. What is it truly that I've been lying to myself all along as well? Because I know I've seen in a lot of the things that I do see coming along my timeline. A lot of times some of them are saying that, this deceit card keeps on popping up. And understanding that with that deceit card is really truly is like, what are the lies or the illusions that we're believing in? One of the things I would like to say, and I know in the spiritual community, when we talk about religion or something like that, some of us, our mission is to get back in with God. Understanding that either God or source or whomever that you believe in, or knowing that it's greater, there's an energy greater than you. You've got to get back into that connection with that again. In some ways, they had to kind of pull off the person, you call it twin flame, off the table, so you could really be able to hear and develop that relationship with them. Some things that I've have gotten some messages about that is that understanding that again, that when we talk about the relationship of God, that is for some of us in the disconnect and the disbelief about what has been brought to us from outside about religion. And there is a difference between religion and spirituality. Religion is more so a systematic thing, or dogmatic, or things of that nature, of belief system or ideologies that has more of a man base to it. And yes, it has been used to manipulate people and groups of things over time. However, where the illusion and the trickery has fell in is that we have mixed in where religion and spirituality are the same, and we should not get to the point that we are throwing the baby out with the bath water. The bath water is dirty, but that does not mean throw the baby out because the baby made the bath water dirty. Get what I'm saying? So my thing is when we're talking about religion, yes, some of the things about systems and things that have been placed, you do this, do that rosary or whatever like that, or you pray so many times or whatever is to this person, or you got to do this. You know, again, some of us might have needed that in order for that discipline and that order or that structure to be able to link in and make that connection with God. Where it becomes wrong is where it is that you can't think a certain way, you can't do a certain way, and you must do it the way that the religion says. That's not spirit. We know spirit is ever moving, ever changing. It has a flow to it. Anytime it's like it has to go this way, then you know you're saying, wait a second, I don't know. I don't think that came straight from God. That don't see, that's coming from you. That's where it is wrong. So some of the things when we're talking about that's used in the Bible and those things like that, there is a principle that can be used and obtained to our lives. So again, some of us, it is for us to kind of get back to that spirituality and that connection and understand how we need to decipher the differences between what had happened to us when we was at the church and what was said, to not confuse it, to say that that did not come straight from spirit. If you understand what I'm saying. So that is a difference with that. And some of us, we had to come back to the fold for that. That I would say that would be for me. We had a relationship, Source and I, and then I got into the spiritual thing and the community and the walk, and they were saying, oh, this isn't right because, you know, spirituality is just controlling mind and blah, 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 blah. However, again, understand some of us is for us to come back into that again. And still, this time we come with a more power of discernment of understanding, okay, I like that, but you can keep that. I like this, what the church says or what they had said in the word of discernment, but you can keep that. So this is where we are with that. Understanding that spirit, and some of the things that I've learned is that, again, that source or God is working with us. We are really truly an instrument of God in order for us to be able to do the work that he needs for us to do on this work on this earth as light workers. And again, we have to remember that a lot of us as light workers has been sent into areas to do certain things that we are not qualified to do. But we have to, you hear my watch chiming, but what we have to understand is that, again, when we're going into these places, then we're not going to these places as ourselves, or myself as Bertina, or myself as Divine Sunshine, that I'm going there as also allowing for God or Source to use me as a channel to do what it is that he would want to. We have to remember again that, again, he said that I rule the heavens, and that I don't, man is for the earth is for man. So we have to understand that, again, in order for him to, again, keep up with that covenant that we have learned and understood, is that, again, he uses us as channels, or you say your guides or your angels or whatever, to help with the management of the moving and doing things and setting the standards on earth, to make things happen, to make things manifest, to make things that we have to do as light workers. That's what we were sent here to do. And so we have to remember that again too as well. And where we have also forgotten is that again that source or God also is loving us. My mom always used to say, sometimes we need God with the skin on. We have forgotten that God also loves us through our person or through our divine twin. And again, through that person is another way in which God expresses his love for us. So God and Source speaking and meditating and giving me a message is saying that again, sometimes why he is not, or your person, he or she has not appeared, because they're saying right now they don't want to use them as the instrument or the vessel to love through, because they're not ready. And so this is why your person, or you find them they ghosted, or you haven't been in no communications, you haven't talked to them in a while, is because of that. Is because again, they're not ready to really receive them being the true instrument. Now, some of them that I've gotten and talked in meditation, and I received this message of understanding, they're saying that they don't have to be 100% ready. They could be that 80% ready. And some of it, the 100% or the 20% that's left, they can learn on the job as they go. This is where some of our people, our persons are at this time. They're learning, they're readjusting, because Spirit in God or Source has told them, I can't operate through you like that, to love her or to love him. This ain't gonna work. You got to clean up some more stuff. Now, I know also some might not want to hear this as well, but if the person doesn't get their stuff together, Sources said again, the promise is that you will experience and have divine love. If the person can't get themselves together, then it will bounce off and go into someone else. That energy of God's true love that he wants to decide to love through you. But again, we have to remember, again, we have that free will. But then again, if God says no, it is destined, and that's part of what you and the person's contract have came about and said that it is to be so. However, again, there is free will that does go and play with it. But again, I still beg to agree to disagree with some of them that say that you can't exercise free will. Yes, it can, to the point that you can exercise it when it's to the point that it's detrimental to you, your spirit, and your soul. Like if I do this where I am and in this state, I'm on self-destruct. Okay, if I'm hearing the song, heading for self-destruction, yeah, then no. It gets stopped, it gets put to the side and say, that's all right. Pull the whole team away from, they're not ready yet. But some of them, again, they do get pushed over the threshold because they say, you can do this. You're just surface scared. You're not all the way down to the core. And yes, we're going to continue to push you to your greatness. And that's the same thing. It goes along with everything that we have to do as far as what's in our mission, our work, our purpose, or why we're here. Another message that I received was I think about, and I have even student kind of in my classroom help me to learn about the different usage of pronouns. And I was just watching the movie, the series Best Man's Wedding, where they had the final chapter, and he was having a problem with his son. And he went to a house to go find his son. They ran away because he was telling him he wasn't going to accept the way he looked. He was going to give his clothes to Goodwill because he was a cat, again, came in the body of a male. And he was dressing and liked to wear females' clothes, the whole makeup and everything. And so when he went to the house, he already, when he was interviewed, backtrack, when the police asked, she's like, well, what is his pronouns? And the father was like, what do you mean what his pronouns is? He's like, I ain't got no time for this. My son is missing. He's like, no. And so his godmother, which was played by Nia Long, and the person was played by Morris Chestnut, has stepped in and say his nouns are they and them. So it has always been, for me, for the students in my classroom, it's been kind of hard for me to be able to transfer, because I hear the voice, I see the body type, I'm thinking every time automatically I'm going for those pronouns that I know, she and her. Then it hit me. I say, you know what? That kind of goes back to what I was doing earlier in my videos, and my twin was learning me too, is us. We still have to understand that when we're talking about, especially in the twin flame community, we need to change the pronouns to they, or we, or us, or our, or them. Because understanding that collectively that we're not really picking a certain gender energy or being gender energy biased to one or another. And I know it's very hard, because for us as humans, we want something concrete, when in the spiritual world it's all about like asexuality, like in the LGBTQ. Really, in some ways, again, the way in which it's going, especially they're almost taking the lead as far as to help the spiritual world to really understand how things really truly need to be, which is asexuality, as like, again, a fluency in, again, the spiritual energy. It doesn't have a gender to it. It just has a feeling and a frequency, but it's not one in which is really specifically to a certain, you can't do one without the other, and it's almost like disrespecting the other gender when we are more both. Our lesson here is to understand how to balance both of the frequencies that we have within us. And a lot of times it's easier with one of our charges. We feel more comfortable. We hold more of the charge of one energy more than the other. But I think here is to balance it both. So I might come here as a representative as a female, but then in my energy, I've got to learn how to balance how I'm presenting myself as a female, that energy, to also the masculine energies too as well, and how to balance both of those things out. How do I show up? How do I be? How do I observe some things? How do I get things to manifest and get to going out there in my outer world that matches what's going on in my inner world? So that came to me about that too, as well as understanding about the she and the pronouns that we need to, and we're using in the communities, and how we need to really change that flow of understanding. But this is April. We are truly coming into the point where there is a newness. It is truly Happy Fool's Day, again, because April Fool's Day, because it is a new journey. And this energy and these new beginnings that is really lending itself, and you can feel it in the energies. We've had a lot of tornadoes. I see this as 7 tornadoes. That reminds me of some of the Orishas. When we're talking about them being that ones that is 2 of them that is of wind and of stirring things up to create, and the goddess of is Ganesh, it's another goddess that comes around, and this is of Indian descent. I can see her. That's all about destruction. And then again, because of the destruction, it helps to clear away in the path for newness to happen. And I think we kind of have gone through that from January, February, and March. And now here we are, April. And now we're just really trying to balance it out. There's still some things happening to help us to calibrate. That's the word. And to recalibrate where our center is. This is where we are in the month of April. Again, those of us, again, that anyone that's having no communication or very little communication, or not the communication that you would like with your person, understand that separation there is really good. Again, and it is a time for you to really truly get yourself resettled, recalibrated and knowingness of getting yourself together. Remember that, again, last thing that I know, the source had brought me in the message that said, again, if you know that, again, this source has promised you that, again, it is coming together with you and your person as far as in union, understand that, again, they are going to be the finisher of that. They're going to be again, to make sure that things are closed and things are finalized. I know I had pulled some cards earlier, and it stated to me about, the union, and I asked when it was. And we have to remember, again, that things come at a point or a level, when we talk about manifestation, at the level in which we are ready and prepared to receive. And again, and there's a lot of things at play. And again, when I pulled it, it was like, okay, winter. I was like, okay, yes, I'm ready. And didn't appear in the manner that I thought that it would. However, it did have union. I asked for physical union, but I wasn't specific. And again, I was specific, but it was like, yeah, this is what you're ready for. And that union is, I am more at a state of peace and coming together and understanding of myself than ever before. Like I say, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm sure enough what ain't where I used to be. And really understanding, pulling things off of the table, doing less things, and really concentrating on what do I want without all the other extra energies. Now I'm at the point that I am ready to kind of layer on a little bit of more people coming in a little bit at a time with that, because again, I was getting too overwhelmed and not really hearing my true voice about what I really truly wanted and what I really truly wanted. I'm listening to everybody else. Oh yeah, I want to do that. Or I'm listening to this one. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe I should be doing that. It's so interesting every time when I would pull cards for myself, it would always have the envy card to come out. And I was like, okay, what is this about? And I would ask my them, what is that in the cards? And the them energy would say, okay, it's again envy. And I was like, well, am I comparing myself? Am I envy about what's going on them situation or they situation? What's happening with, them over here? And so in doing that, I read one day and I said, let me look up what the heck this envy is about. And it was like, envy is about you not being happy and really truly seeing the value of where you are. You keep on looking outside yourself to look at where you want to be instead of being happy with where you are and the things that you have. That's what envy means. Not like you're envious against anybody else. And I was like, oh. So that's where I'm at now, is just really taking in and just being happy with where I am, what is showing up, and helping to open up my heart space more and putting up these healthy boundaries. And that is helping me to understand, as far as I think all of us has been like that. It's not, we're so busy trying to fast forward about what the relationship is, or where the they or the them will come in us becoming us in that usage of the pronoun, and not really understanding, what's going on with the we here, as you want to say. And so this is where we have to work on, and the work continuously builds, and the progress is always forever going and continuously going and flowing. And this is where we are now on our journey, and especially Aries in the April Aries season. Take that energy, use it to your best knowing and to your best ability of opportunities to open up. Use that I am and watch what you're doing. Watch also, again, the dialogue that you use it with yourself. And I believe that for many of us, you're on this stage, this channel resonates with you too as well. We are, I see 29, we are getting to the point that I believe that we are speaking much highly of ourselves and much better to ourselves than we were 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, or maybe even a month ago. this is where we are now on this journey. And we are truly moving into the oneness, and even with the separation and the silence that may be going on right now between they or them or us, that are we, that we're wishing, well, it's not like, again, you know, it used to be love, and you would say that, you see other people say, oh, that's so nice, you know, you figure that's a chivalrous thing in your divine masculine energies that you should do. You know, I should wish them well, you know, in the situation. No, not at this point. It's just like, yeah, if you're happy, I'm happy. You know, if you're happy, then go on ahead and discover and use all of that explorer energies to really explore and to really truly understand what is love for you. Just like in where we are, I'm exploring and understanding what love means with myself and where I am, and really truly understanding the love and the goodness that I actually have. Because in our mirroring, that is the issue with some of us, if you're on this channel, that we're not able to really see what is really truly good, because on both ends, you're not really truly good to see what's happening outside of yourself, because of what's determining inside as your compass of what's north or what's good and what's bad. And they're not able, they're mirroring the same thing, being able to see what's going on, what's good and bad from the outside, to tell the inside what's going on, so they can be able to know. And it's a mirroring of the same thing in the situation. You might be with self, they might be with what you call the karmic situation, or the hard teacher, or the remediator that has been set forth, or the closer, as I like to call it. So they can really start to say, okay, things are really truly closing, because I see the difference, and I'm able to discern what is really truly good for me. And so now I can feel within my heart to know that where I'm at is not where I'm supposed to be. Like you on your end might need to see, oh, I'm looking around, I've been saying this is not where I'm supposed to be, but I'm looking around and saying, hey, things are really not that bad. I'm now able to discern that, hey, some of this stuff is good, some of this stuff is not as bad as I thought it was, and some of this stuff is because I can be able to kind of power through. I might need to start saying no, that I don't want to keep on powering through because I can, is because I don't want to. Okay, and so some of you all, that might be where you are too as well. All right, then I am going to stop right here, because I think we needed to have a fireside chat, as I always do, that kind of tells you where I am, where I'm going. And the next one, I probably will just kind of draw a couple of cards to see what is the month of April bringing to us. All right, then. Thank you. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the notification for all, so that when I am led to come on here, spirit can be, oh, okay, that's right, I forgot. The word. I'm noticing the word that's been coming up here lately is, before I sign off, is pivot. So some of us might be in our, let's say both, divine feminine and divine masculine energies, find ourselves pivoting in our career, our choices, or marriage, or relationships, and saying, I thought it was, this don't feel right, and so now I'm going in a whole different direction. And so now we are pivoting, and I think that's probably going to be the title of what's the April energies is helping us, is to pivot. All right, then, as always, love you. Be talking to you next time. So as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascending. Namaste. Namago. See you. Love you.